And we're live. Welcome everyone back for another episode of FPL Focal. Hope you're all well. It's a rare Monday night stream today, ahead of tomorrow's deadline. It's a Tuesday deadline tomorrow. Unfortunately, tomorrow's deadline is at 6 PM UK time, and I'm going to be on the road, so not able to do the usual deadline stream tomorrow. So I thought I'd have to get a stream in before the deadline. So here we are doing as I say, a rare Monday night stream. So it's a preview stream today rather than a deadline stream, but loads prepared for this one as usual. How's everyone doing? Appreciate you being here. James, yeah, we hit 405 subs today, James. Absolutely chuffed with that. Posted a captain's video yesterday, and it was actually the first video that we've ever had hit over 1k views, so I'm absolutely chuffed with that. Yeah, it got 1,300 views. It's still going up. So by far the most views I've ever had on one of my videos. So I was in a really good mood about that today. Because like I say, previous videos had never hit close to that many views. So yeah, good day all in all. And yeah, we blew past 400 subs as well, as you say, James. Siang, how you doing, mate? He says, thoughts on Iheanacho, Jota and Veltman to Mane, Struijk and a budget striker. So with Struijk, I don't know what the likelihood is that he plays the final two. If I was to guess, I'd say it's 50-50, so I don't know if Struijk's the move. You could get Phillips from Liverpool instead. I think that would be more logical in the same price bracket. Obviously, Phillips is expected to play all of Liverpool's remaining games, and I think he's only 4 mil, maybe 4.1 if he's gone up. I'd say he makes more sense than Struijk. Plays for a better side, and obviously about the same fixtures, Burnley away and then Crystal Palace at home. But yeah, I like the Mane move a lot. Mane's been putting up some good stats over recent game weeks, and obviously he has two very strong fixtures, as I say. He's got Burnley and then Palace. So I like the moves, but I'd probably get Phillips rather than Struijk. And I assume you've got 2 free transfers, so you'd be doing a -4 max. I don't think I'd do a -8 for that. How you doing, James? Hope you had a good day, mate. Adam, how you doing? Kobe, how's it going? Al Capul, Zaha Martinez out for Greenwood and Ederson -4. So Zaha and Martinez. So who's Zaha got this week? I'm trying to think who Palace have got. I know Spurs play Villa, so I can see the logic in that. I'm just trying to remember who Palace play. There's so many fixtures on Tuesday and Wednesday. I think Palace have got Arsenal. The problem with Greenwood, and we'll get to this in a second with the news roundup, is that both Martial and James are back for Man United, so I don't know if Greenwood starts the 2 remaining games. There's obviously a good chance that he does. He's been in sensational form, but that's what's putting me off him a bit, because obviously in my case, I've got to get rid of Jota, and I'm looking at who to get rid of Jota for, and the options, I think, are Greenwood, maybe Rafinha, maybe, I'm forgetting his name now, on loan from Arsenal to Newcastle. What's his name? It's going to bug me. His name's completely escaping me now. His name is Willock. I can't believe I forgot that as an Arsenal fan. Yeah, Willock scored 5 in his last 5 on loan from Arsenal to Newcastle, and he's got 2 good games to finish the season on. So Willock's an option as well. But Greenwood, yeah, like I say, I don't know if he is a realistic option because of Martial and James being back. There's a chance that he might be on the bench for one of the remaining 2. But the major news today is Harry Kane has told Tottenham he wants to leave this summer. This is from City Chief. I'm told they're a reliable source. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But yeah, interesting. Very interesting for this news to come out with just a couple of games left as well. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't wait until the end of the season, if there is any truth to this, or perhaps it was a leak. What wasn't a leak was Pep confirmed in his conference that KDB is back in training for the last couple of days. So he says he's preparing well for the Champions League final and prepare well for the Brighton Everton game. So good to have KDB back. Just in time, unfortunately for Chelsea fans, for the Champions League final. The former Chelsea man, and now Arsenal, David Luiz, is leaving Arsenal at the end of the season. he's told the club, this was early this week, he told Arsenal that he didn't want to extend his contract, so he's going to be leaving in the summer. Yeah, I mean, I've got Holding in my team, so I think that's good news as a Holding owner. Looks like Holding's going to be set to play the remaining 2. I'm probably going to start him this game week for that Palace fixture. And we saw, very surprisingly, Scott Carson started in goal last game against Newcastle as Man City beat Newcastle narrowly in a 4-3 win. Absolute belter of a game. But Ederson is going to play the next 2 games, Guardiola confirms, so it was just a one-off occasion. I think a couple of seasons ago, actually, Pep Guardiola did a similar thing where he started the backup keeper just for one of the remaining few games, which I suppose is fair. You know, they train all season and never get a look in, and then that was his moment. He hadn't played for a decade as well in the Premier League. Crazy. That's the wrong crest. That's the one I meant. As I was saying earlier, Martial and James are back in contention. Both have returned from their injuries, so they could play in the remaining couple of fixtures of what's left of this season. So that's what, as I say, is putting me off Greenwood a bit. I don't know what the chances are of Greenwood starting both now, which is a shame because they've got good fixtures, especially this game week, Man United playing Fulham at home. It could be this game that Greenwood starts, but maybe he doesn't play for the final game week of the season. And this is one I noticed on the last stream by accident, but if anyone wasn't tuned into the last stream, Harry Maguire hadn't owned himself in his FPL team the entire season until game week 35, where he brought himself in and captained himself for the triple game week. So he sold Reguilon and brought himself in for the triple game week. And he had the armband on himself for the 2-pointer, unfortunately. And a quick look back at the scout selection for last game week. They had Ederson, Trent, Digne, Dallas, Salah, Son, Traore, Rafinha, Kane, Captain, DCL and Bamford. Can anyone guess how many points the scout got in game week 36? Suji, how you doing, mate? Hope you had a good weekend. Yeah, definitely, Siang. Probably the easiest way is to post your team on the Rate My Team channel on the Discord. And then towards the end of the stream, we'll have a look at everyone's teams, answer any team questions, that sort of thing. But yeah, this was the scout selection. Obviously, they had Ederson, who, as I say, didn't even play in game week 36. Scott Carson unexpectedly got the start for Man City, so it was a 0-pointer for Ederson in that game. Sujit says, I brought in Bamford in for Watkins, and now everyone's talking about Rodrigo. Bench and dilemma, Lingard or Rafinha. That is a bench and dilemma. I think if I had to pick one, I'd start Rafinha, but I really wouldn't be benching Lingard either. Is there no one else you can bench, Sujit? This was the thing though, on the Game Week 36 deadline stream, we were talking about Iheanacho replacements, and the 2 options were Bamford and Antonio, and one of the things I said then was that it's not assured that Bamford plays the 90, whereas with Antonio it is. And I said we've seen in recent game weeks that Bamford came off early, even before the 60th minute, and it happened again, annoyingly, for Bamford owners, especially because they won 4-0 away to Burnley. Ayush says it's 54 points, James says 60, and then 54, Matt says 50. How you doing, Matt? The scout got 54 points, so Ayush and James got it. Yeah, 54 points from the scout. Not a very good game week, really, considering they get a free hit every game week. And it was Ferran Torres who joined the Kings of the game week off the back of his hat-trick and 3 bonus against Newcastle. One of his goals was unbelievable. Goal of the season contender, potentially. I think it was Cancelo whipped in a ball and Torres got a ridiculous touch to it to put over Dubravka. So yeah, welcome to the Kings, Ferran Torres. And this is the scout selection for 37. Just a couple of these scout selections left. Danny, how you doing? So this game week, the scout selection is as follows. They've got Lloris in goal, Trent in defence again, Luke Shaw, Dallas in defence again, Salah captain, Bruno, Foden, Rafinha, Pereira, interesting one again, Kane and Antonio up top. What do you guys think this week? I like the picks this week, I do. I do think Foden starts. I don't think Pep can afford to bench him every game. He needs to keep his match fitness and sharpness up. So I do think he starts this one, maybe even 38 as well. Could be a massive punt if anyone's looking for a late season punt. Phil Foden, you heard it here first. Playing Brighton away. Brighton obviously don't have Dunk in defence. He got a red card. They don't have Mopai. Obviously that has less of effect on Foden, but no Mopai either. Could be a good game for Man City. James says, don't know about Pereira. Yeah, Pereira's one of those players. He's done pretty well this season, but he's been so patchy with his form. I've not owned him at any point, but those that jumped on him at the right time are laughing. Kobe says, got in Che Adams instead of Antonio Bamford in DCL. Smashed it. Didn't Che Adams score? I think Adams scored, didn't he? Against Fulham. So a good pick. I don't know why Che Adams wasn't getting looking for a spell, because I think he's a quality striker. And deserves to be in the Southampton starting 11 with Danny Ings. But yeah, there was a period where he wasn't starting, and even Southampton fans couldn't tell you why, because he deserved to. Yeah, good pick this week. As always, we'll continue to track how the scout did each game week. And yeah, getting a bit sad. There's only 2 of these picks left and the season's over. Let's have a look at the Premier League players, mini league. Not much movement really. James Justin obviously still miles out in front. He's ranked 3k overall, having an outstanding season. No one's even close to catching him. He's absolutely going to win the league this season. Maguire's still in 3rd place. Matt Target moved up to 7th place. He overtook Calvin Phillips. Albrighton leapfrogged his teammate Maddison. So he's up to 9th place. And at the opposite end, it's still Bissouma sitting in last place. And if I'm not mistaken, he still has himself set and forget captain. He's he does indeed. So Bissouma's got the armband on himself. He did get the yellow card against West Ham. Unfortunate for Bissouma, just a 2-pointer. Also unfortunate is this manager. This is Hossam Ismail from Egypt. And heading into Game Week 36, he was ranked 8k overall. And he had an absolute disaster here. So he took a -8 hit. And he only got 22 points. And he finished on 14 overall. So the only player that even returned in his entire team was Trent, who got 6 points. Sorry, I thought Teddy wanted to join the stream. He might change his mind in a second. What are you doing down there? Absolute disaster class anyway from Hissam. Sorry, mate. He's still ranked 22k overall, so he's having a very good season here, but absolute disaster that to finish on 14 points after factoring the hits. Thanks everyone that has tuned in already. Good turnout considering it's a Monday night stream. Appreciate you being here. Ayush, Danny, Dylan. Didn't see you sneak in, Dylan. How you doing, mate? James, Kobe, Matt. State Farm Manager, Sujit. Anyone else I've missed there? Dylan says, hi Focal, a -4 is still worth it. It depends who for, really. I mean, I think so, yeah. I think so. It's just whether you think that player's going to, outscore the hit and outscore who you sell. In my case, I actually took a -4 last game week. I brought in Sue Fowl for Connor Cody, which didn't pay off in the end. Nearly did. They only conceded 1 goal. Sue Fowl almost had an assist at one point. But yeah, ideally when you're taking a hit, you want there to be more game weeks for it to pay off. And obviously, West Ham still have to play West Brom and Southampton, so there's still time for that to pay off. And I'd say likewise, there's still 2 game weeks left. So if you're going to take a hit now, there's definitely still plenty of time for it to be paid off. So yeah, still worth it for sure. I mean, this game week, I'm actually looking fairly good in terms of my starting 11. It's actually who I start between Ayling and Holding. If Masuaku was back, then that would be another headache, so I could potentially double up in defence for West Ham. But I think this will be how I end up starting. And I think the move I'm going to make is I'm going to sell Jota. And it's probably going to be Rafinha that comes in. Rafinha, he's picked up 2 assists since coming back from his injury. He's been pretty consistent throughout the season. Good attacking numbers, good underlying stats. So I think it's going to be Rafinha that comes in for the final 2. He's got Southampton and then West Brom. Southampton again failed to keep a clean sheet in Game Week 36. They hadn't kept a clean sheet since something like Game Week 17. I think the last clean sheet Southampton got was Liverpool. Is that right? Surely not. Where am I trying to go? I want to go to the transfers. Sorry for the jumping about. Just wanted to check when Southampton's last clean sheet is. It was... Yeah, Liverpool. Is it? Yeah, Liverpool. Game Week 17. Can only remember that game. Forster came in just for that one game. It had been McCarthy all season up to that point. Forster came in, kept the clean sheet, and then immediately lost his spot. Yeah, crazy. Poor season for Southampton all in all. Which part of the Discord shall I send my team into? Send it into the Rate My Team channel, and we'll definitely take a look at that. Alright, here he is. Said he's finally getting involved in a stream. He's been off. He's been on vacation for the last couple of streams, but he's back to disrupt this one. Where did I get to? So talking of team defensives, this is the goals conceded over the last 4 game weeks. Newcastle, Villa and Palace all top. 9 goals conceded in the last 4 game weeks. So really poor numbers. Villa's defensive numbers from early in the season have dropped off. Palace have been really leaky for quite a while. Newcastle, misspelt on this graphic, never mind. These graphics, by the way, courtesy of FPL updates and tips on Twitter, used with permission from them. Worth a follow. West Brom again, still leaking goals at this late stage, and Wolves likewise. Wolves have been really poor. That's why I sold Cody, because I didn't really think Cody was going to keep a clean sheet in any of his final 3 games. And in terms of the goals scored over the last 4 game weeks, Liverpool top, 9 goals scored over the last 4. So definitely the team to jump on, the likes of Salah, Trent. Mane's an interesting differential. Someone was talking about Mane earlier in the chat. Mane's a really interesting option. I forget who it was now that was talking about Mane, but yeah, Mane's emerged as an interesting option. Good underlying numbers. Newcastle, 8 goals in their last 4. As I say, Willock's got 5 goals in 5, and he's only priced 4.7. 5 goals in 5 for Willock. 4.7 mil midfielder. He's into the starting 11 now. Played the last 90 last game week. I think the game week before he almost got the 90. Palace though, they are scoring as well, so they're leaking a lot of goals but also scoring. Likewise with Villa. Leicester scoring well as well, considering that they had the blank. Big hits, how you doing? Yeah, we hit 400 subs today. Really happy with that. And also today hit 1k views on a video for the first time ever since starting the channel. About 6 months ago now I started this channel, so I was really chuffed with that. Really happy with that. 1k views, unbelievable. What we'll do, I'll finish getting through all the content I've prepared here and then we'll get to the Rate My Teams at the end of the stream. I wanted to cover the actual defensive numbers over the last 4 game weeks and drill into that more. So for goals conceded, Fulham worst. Expected goals conceded, Newcastle worst. Sheffield continuing to put up poor numbers in terms of expected goals conceded, shots conceded on target and big chances conceded. Interestingly, Liverpool joint worst for big chances conceded, which I suppose is a symptom of Kabak being out injured, and obviously the other defenders. They've been playing Phillips and Reece Williams in centre-back, 2 youngsters, which is unbelievable, by the way, because last season I think Phillips was playing for Stuttgart or someone like that in the German league, and Reece Williams was playing for a team in like the 2nd Scottish division. So it's absolutely crazy that these two right now are the starting Liverpool centre-back pairing. And at the opposite end, goals conceded. Chelsea, I mean, since Tuchel's come in, he's transformed that team defensively. But Arsenal also over the last 4 game weeks conceded 0.5 goals per game, and Chelsea the best for expected goals conceded. In terms of shots conceded on target, again, Arsenal, the best out of all teams. So holding owners, looking good for this Palace game, fingers crossed. And again, big chances conceded. Chelsea, the best in the league over the last 4. And in terms of the offensive numbers over the last 4 game weeks, it's Man City and Spurs on top. In terms of expected goals scored, it is Liverpool. Oops, I forgot to mute Discord. There we go. I think someone just tagged me. Shots on target, Spurs top. 8 is the average over the last 4 game weeks. Crazy. A lot of that has been Kane, obviously. He's been taking tons of shots since his return from injury, and obviously got his first goal in Game Week 36 since returning from injury. I'll tell you what, captaincy is an absolute nightmare for this game week because there's several very good options. I think Salah's a really good option. Bruno looks a really strong option with that Fulham game, but also Kane looks a really good option. I'm happy to own all 3, but I'm going to kick myself if I get the captaincy wrong. And Liverpool have created the most big chances over the last 4 game weeks. And again, at the opposite end, Fulham rock bottom in almost every metric, so Southampton defensive owners will be annoyed to not have got that clean sheet. Obviously it was McCarthy that came back in goal for Southampton. Fraser Forster missed out. James says, yeah, easily going to hit 1k by the end of the year. Let's hope so. I mean, this started as like a bit of a lockdown hobby, starting this channel. I've played fantasy football for a long time. And yeah, about 6 months ago, I decided to start a channel, have a go at social media, making content and all that. And yeah, I've really enjoyed the growth and the grind, I suppose. It's been yeah, a lot of work, you know, putting out the videos regularly. I've started doing captains videos and doing these streams, but it's really enjoyable, and it's quite enjoyable watching the community grow, because we've got something like 1,500 in our Discord now as well. So yeah, I appreciate everyone that's tuned into these streams so far, anyone that's subbed, anyone that's just swinging by to enjoy the stream. Sujet says Chilwell's a good punt with Chelsea aiming for revenge against Leicester. Yeah, I was surprised he didn't start in the FA Cup final, if I'm honest. I was really surprised about that. I thought Pulisic should have started as well, but I would fancy Chilwell to start the next one, because Chelsea need to be careful. They could completely derail their season with a couple more losses. They're currently in 4th, only a point clear of 5th, and they still have to play Leicester, which is a big game. And obviously Liverpool have got 2 strong fixtures, and you'd really expect Liverpool to win the remaining 2. And of course Chelsea got the Champions League final as well, so sorry Chelsea fans, but it could be a pretty stressful end to the season. And therefore I don't think he's going to rotate as much. I do think Chilwell comes back in. Gary says Holding should be a lock as Luiz has been released now. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I was saying at the top of the stream, it was announced last week David Luiz is going to leave Arsenal at the end of the season. So yeah, it looks good for Holding owners, myself included. I would expect him to start against Palace, and obviously as we saw just now, Palace not putting up particularly good attacking numbers in recent game weeks. But let's have a look at the clean sheet odds, see if there is anything to that. So they are as follows for Game Week 37. Man United top for clean sheet odds in Game Week 37. They play Fulham, obviously, 47% chance of a clean sheet, according to the bookies. Man City, 45% chance. As Pep said, Ederson will be back in goal for the remaining 2. No more goalkeeper rotation with Scott Carson coming in, or Stefan or anything like that. Chelsea also 45% chance of a clean sheet. Liverpool 42.5. Arsenal 42% chance. Looks good, as I say, for Holding owners. The other option in my team is to start Ayling, but he's got a 21.5% chance of a clean sheet. So I think it's I think the team picks itself in my team this week. It'll be Ayling that starts. Everton, unbelievably, 1-0 loss to Sheffield yesterday. I could not believe that. I had the game on in the background, and my phone went off because of a goal, and I was like, oh, here we go, it's probably Calvert-Lewin, because I don't have him. and it was Sheffield. I forget his name. Was it Jebison? 17-year-old? Unbelievable. And yeah, interestingly, 7.5% chance of a clean sheet for Burnley. I haven't talked about Burnley too much yet, but they play Liverpool, and Pope missed the last game through injury, and Sean Dyche said it looks like he might miss the next one as well, but he'll be back in time for game week 38. So that's another factor to consider, is that Peacock Farrell is going to be in goal for Burnley potentially, and of course Liverpool got everything to play for. Burnley have got nothing to play for, and Jota's obviously going to miss the remainder of the season as well. So it looks like Salah, Mane, and Firmino are going to play in all two of the remaining two. And in terms of the goal scorer odds, on the subject of Salah and Liverpool, Salah's top for goal scorer odds, 58.5% chance of a goal in that Burnley fixture, followed by Kane, 53% chance. The bookies are given Aubameyang 47% chance against Palace. Obviously this assumes that the player starts. I think that's a bit generous, 47%. Maybe last season. Danny Ings, 47% chance. Jay Lings, 46.5% chance of a goal. God, that's surprisingly high. I'm surprised to see that higher than Antonio, I'll be honest. Obviously Lingard's numbers have dropped off in recent game weeks. And the expected points, courtesy of fplreview.com, are as follows. This factors in everything, so you know the chances of goals, assists, clean sheets, etc. And Salah is top, 8.91 expected points against Burnley. Anyone in chat not got Salah? It's going to be a nervy week to go about Salah. I know some people shipped out Bruno. Don't know if Aish is still in chat. I know that he sold Bruno for Son in game week 36, and obviously he's up there as well. Mane's second, 7.08. Mane's a very interesting differential for the last two. If anyone is looking for a very high upside differential, then Sadio Mane is absolutely that option. Obviously he's quite expensive, 11.7, but with Jota injured, he will play the final two, and obviously Liverpool have to score, have to win these last two. And his underlying numbers have been good as well in recent game weeks. So Sadio Mane, I wish I had a way to fit him in my team, but I don't. I was trying to squeeze him in the team, but I wouldn't be able to do it without selling Son or Kane, which I don't really want to do for the Aston Villa fixture. And Kane is up there as well, 6.85 expected points. Bruno's up there, Rashford, Trent, 5.4. That's something I forgot to even mention. There's rumours today that Trent hasn't made Southgate's England squad. What do you guys think about that? No Trent in the England squad. Afan says, you mentioned Smith Rowe. I did that last week, probably not making the same mistake again. It's just like, who do I start him for? I could start him instead of Jota, obviously, but I think I'd rather do Jota to Rafinha. Yeah, good. That's a good question. You got me thinking about Smith Rowe again now. I had Smith Rowe on my free hit draft, and obviously he got 8 against West Brom and then 11 points against Chelsea, and he ended up, I think I still got it, he ended up in the Kings of the Game Week back in game week 35. 19 points he got in the double. By far the cheapest player to make the Kings, 4.2. I don't know if he's gone up 0.1 since, but yeah, that's the other option, to obviously bench Jota and start Smith Rowe. Jonathan, how you doing, mate? Says Foden, Rafinha or Harrison. My pick between those three would be Rafinha. Like I say, I'm looking to sell Jota, and I need to decide who to get in for him. And I'm probably going to end up going for Rafinha. He's got Southampton, who, as I say, haven't kept a clean sheet since game week 17. Foden's a very good option as well, obviously, but there's a question mark about if he plays the remaining two or not. And Harrison's an interesting one as well. Harrison, I've not seen him talked about a great deal this season, but if you go to midfielders, he is the 6th highest scoring midfielder in the game. Just realised you can't see it because of how I've got this laid out, but he's the 6th highest scoring midfielder. He's on 152 points. we will have a quick look at how the captain poll results are looking. But first, if anyone's not on our Discord, there's a link in the description to that. We've got things like the price changes. Every time I pull up the Discord, there's always something that I shouldn't have on screen. Anyway, it's got the price changes. We've got the lineups. We've got the live scores. We've got the bonus points. Got the old stat spot. You can do info, and then you can just pick a player, Rafinha, and then boom, the bot gives you info about that player. We've got injury updates, game week stats, so things like who the most captain was. We've got the top 10k stats, the old insider trading. If anyone doesn't know what this one is, it's transfers that players and staff have made on FPL regarding the clubs that they're from. News, transfer trends, and loads more. But an early look at our captain poll. Salah is in front as it stands. Looks like it will stay that way. 44 votes for Salah. I'm going to do my vote now. Since I won't have time to do the old deadline stream tomorrow, I'll get the voting now. Salah captain for me this week. If anyone hasn't voted yet, don't forget to get your vote in. Only 6 votes for Kane. Very interesting. Surprisingly low, because I think it could be a good game week for Kane. I just feel like it could be an equally good game for Salah. And something I always remember is when it's between two players that you think are on par, if one's a striker and one's classed as a midfielder, then back the midfielder, because they get an extra point for every goal and they get a point for a clean sheet as well. So, you know, if Salah and Kane both score 1 and both teams keep a clean sheet, then Salah's getting 2 extra points for that. Question for you guys. How many of the most transferred out players can you guess? So how many of the most transferred out players can you guess heading into Game Week 37? And then we'll have a look at that shortly. Sorry if I missed any messages in chat. Finn, how you doing, mate? No Salah or Bruno for Finn. Gonna have to be hiding behind the sofa watching those games. James says, I'll put Salah and Reece Williams in next week though. Yeah, not the worst moves for the last game week. Liverpool playing Crystal Palace at home with fans, by the way. Good to have fans back at last. In the UK here, as of today actually, you can go out and be inside. So I went out for a meal this evening actually. And it was really nice to actually just be indoors for a meal. Went to a restaurant with the family. Very nice. Matt says Dallas, Smith Rowe or Coleman. Dallas. Dylan says 270k. First season playing. Should I play safe and hold the rank or push for top 200k? I'd be tempted to go top 200k. I mean, from your perspective, what's the difference between coming 270k or coming, you know, 350k? Depends what that means to you, but there's not much between the two, is there? And if you've got a rank in top 200k, that's really impressive for a first season, so I'd be tempted to push, to be honest. James says the Discord's actually amazing. Thank you, James. Appreciate that, mate. Appreciate that very much. Jonathan says, thanks, mate. I'll go for Rafinha then. Yeah, I'm going to be doing the same move. It's going to be Jota to Rafinha for that Southampton game. As I say, no clean sheet for Southampton since Game Week 17, so hopefully that continues. What was it? Out? Yeah. How many of the most transferred out players can you name heading into Game Week 37? So the players that have been sold by managers this game week. We will look at the ones that have been transferred in as well, but the question was, how many can you guys name of the most transferred out players? Hopefully I've asked that right. It sounded right in my head. Bishwamp, how you doing, mate? He says Jota to Willock or Foden. Interesting one, that. I think I'd go Willock, if I'm honest. He's got two good final fixtures. He's got Sheffield and Fulham, I believe. So I'd probably go Willock, but I would go Rafinha over both of those if you don't have him already. So if you don't have Rafinha, he would be my pick. That's probably what I'm going to be doing with Jota. Jota to Rafinha. And that actually gives me enough money to do Son to Mane as well in 38, interestingly. Might do that. Penguin, how you doing, mate? Matt says, what content will you do in the off-season? I was talking about this earlier with some of the guys on the Discord, and I may end up doing a little bit of Euros Fantasy. The Euros Fantasy is live now, so you can actually start making your teams already. So I may do a bit of Euros Fantasy content. But this is the most transferred out players this game week. Obviously, it was Jota, top. Already over 300,000 managers have sold him, heading into game week 37. And I'm just checking if he's expected to drop tonight. Yeah, he is. Actually, it looks like Jota, Martinez, Vardy could all drop tonight. Could be a lot of risers tonight as well. Looks like Greenwood, Antonio, Melia, Eze could all go up tonight. And in terms of the most transferred in players heading into game week 37, it is as follows. Interestingly, Greenwood, the most transferred in player heading into game week 37. Ferran Torres, obviously off the back of his hat-trick. Just over 100,000 managers have brought Torres in. Is Torres a trap? What do you guys think? Got his hat-trick. Surely he deserves another start. Surely. But it is Pep, isn't it? It's well within Pep's capabilities to bench a player off the back of a hat-trick. He's done it before. Yeah, if you've got Rafinha already, Vince Schwamp, I would go. I'd go Willock. I mean, Foden's got a much higher ceiling, but I think he might start one of the next two, not both. That'd be my guess. You know, City have got the league completely wrapped up. Doesn't really have any reason to be starting his best players or his first 11 for the Champions League final in these last two. So I think Foden plays one of the last two personally. I could be dead wrong about that, obviously. Wish I had a crystal ball. I would be first in the world, however. Torres, yeah, the second most transferred in. Harrison, Bruno, a lot of people getting Bruno back in. Salah, Trent. Obviously Trent deserves to be there. And I would say Trent deserves to be on the plane for the Euros, but not according to Southgate. Dylan says, thoughts on Jota to Willock and Iheanacho to Firmino. -4 to help get top 200k. That's an interesting one. I actually don't mind that move. Firmino's not really good FPL asset normally. But I do have a gut feeling he'll do well in the final two. And those are two massive differentials as well. I mean, those are the sort of punts that are exactly what you need if you're looking to soar up the ranks if they do haul. And as I say, Willock's got two very strong fixtures. And so does Firmino. And Firmino will play the final two with Jota out injured. That's a definite. Stuart says start Melia or Mendy. I'd start Mendy for sure. I mean, we saw, if we look at the clean sheet odds very quickly, again, Chelsea 45% chance of a clean sheet, and Leeds with less than half that, 21.5% chance of a clean sheet for Leeds. So I would start Mendy there, absolutely. Let's play a round of Who's That Player. If anyone's not played before, I'm going to show you a cutout of a player, and you have to guess who that player is. So here's the first one. Who's that player? Here's a massive clue. I had to include him again after the game week he had. This guy had to be in this after the game week he had. Athens says, won't be surprised if Torres plays inverted left back playing centre back, to be honest. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he ends up playing left back or something ridiculous like that. Or wing back in in a full back formation. Yeah, I think that was a bit of a massive clue, wasn't it? After the game he had. Dylan got it, Afen got it, Vishwanth got it. Threw a couple of you off with that clue, to be fair, saying after the game he had. I mean, obviously Torres had the best game week of all players, depending on how you measure it, I suppose. But in terms of points, it was Torres that had the best game week. But I was talking about Mr. Allison, who of course went up for the header last night. Added time. Trent assist as well. I was absolutely buzzing. 95th minute Allison winner. You can't write it. You cannot write it. It was Allison. If any Liverpool fans are in chat, I'd love to know what your reaction was when that went in. It's just the dream, isn't it? For the keeper of the club you support to go up in added time and score the winner. Unbelievable. It's very, very rare that we have goalkeepers score goals in the Premier League. The last one we had was Begovic. I'm just trying to find... there was a post somewhere. I've got it. So this is how rare goalkeepers score goals. Sorry, I got on a bit of a tangent here. I easily get distracted. But this is the goal scorer and keepers in the Premier League. So we had Alisson yesterday. And then before that, it was 2013. Begovic scored. I remember the Begovic one. It was a really windy day. And it wasn't a shot. He just absolutely booted it long. And the wind really took it and ended up lobbing the other keeper. But yeah, it's very rare that it happens. In the last 20 years, there's only been 6. Anyway, back to what we were doing. I think they're quite easy today, these ones. But guesses in the chat. Who's that player? Quacky says, I screamed, started crying, nearly broke my new TV. Can you imagine if it's an Alisson goal, that's the difference between Liverpool getting top 4 or not? Put a statue up if he does it for them. Unbelievable. Yeah, Tim Howard got one. Good memory, JD. Who's that player? Come on, the hair's got to give it away. Who's that player? Or maybe the hair doesn't completely give it away. It's not Salah. It's not El Neni. No one's got it yet. Interesting. It's not Willian. It's not Chowdhury. I thought this was one of the easier ones, but I might have stumped you guys. Do you need a clue? The clue is that we have talked about him on the stream today. A little bit. It's not Usain Bolt. Good guess though. Same hair. It's not Chowdhury. It's not El Neni. Good guesses. Not Pereira. You're going to kick yourself. Fellaini's a good guess. It's not Fellaini either. That's something I didn't mention. It's always players that are currently playing in the Premier League. Kwaku, JD and James got it. It was David Luiz. Well played. We'll do one more. Bishwamp got it as well. Last one. Who is that player? And then after this, we will do the Rate My Team questions. So if anyone wants team questions answered or transfer questions to ask, I will answer them right after this. Dianya with a wig. It's not Yotta. It's not Joe Hart. Hands behind the back pose for this one. Not Arteta, not Greenwood, not Pereira, not Chiellini, not El Mohammadi. How you doing, Gunners? Welcome to the stream. It's not Torres. I think I picked the most difficult one to last. They play for a player that has a blue shirt. Oh, you didn't even need the clue. Dylan, Jonathan, James got it. It was Mason Mount. Well played. As I say, if anyone's got any team questions, I will happily answer them now. Oops, didn't mean to click that. If anyone's got any team questions, rate my teams, let me know. If you want to post them in our Rate My Team channel on the Discord, I'll take a look at them that way, no problem at all. Money Mace. So yeah, I think this game week I will have the armband on Salah, vice captain Bruno. I do think Kane will do well against Villa, but yeah, I mean it's really a toss-up between the three of them. Maybe I should do the old school way and put 3 treats on the ground with a name next to each player, and then whichever treat the dog goes for is the player I captain. That seems like the most sensible way of doing it. Or spin a bottle. Were there any Rate My Teams in the Rate My Team channel? There were some earlier. Let's have a look. Where did we get to? Chan had one. Who to bench? Oh, really tough one, because Seafowl obviously has better clean sheet odds than Dallas, but I don't think you can bench Dallas, considering how attacking he is. I think you've got your bench spot on there. I think that is the right order for the bench. Yeah, Seafowl first on the bench. I would start Loris over Martinez. Stroik second, Davies third. Yeah, looks good. Salah captain. Yeah, I like it. I can't tell which of these are in the stream right now and which are just happen to be posting there. But 10 forever if you're here. Should I go Jota to Rafinha or Willock? My vote is for Rafinha, personally. He's got similar fixtures to Willock, but I do prefer him. He's had better and more consistent numbers over the season. Willock's obviously in great form as well and cheaper, but I think Rafinha gets my pick for the final two, and that's going to be who I end up picking up for Jota. EJT, what to do? Jota to Willock or Rafinha, Harrison, Mane, Nacho to Kane, or maybe both, Rafinha and Kane from -4. I would be actually very tempted to go for the Mane punt. As I said, I think Mane is a very interesting differential for the remaining two. He's got Burnley away. As I said, Burnley looks like they're going to be without Nick Pope. And Burnley, you know, they've got nothing to play for now. They just conceded 4 to Leeds at home, and they play at home again against Liverpool. So I think Liverpool do roll them over, and I think Mane's a very strong pick for the final two. And very lowly owned. Is that a word? Lowly? Low ownership? Lowly owned. That's what I would do. I probably wouldn't take a hit on Rafinha and Kane. Difficult one though, because Kane and Rafinha could do well, but I think it also depends on where you are rank wise and what you're going for. You know, if you're looking for a way to flat up the ranks, then Mane is an outstanding differential, whereas Kane's obviously a pretty safe pick. Quacky says, as a differential captain, should I go Greenwood or Trent? Oh, I think I'd go Greenwood. Yeah, he's got Fulham, very, very good fixture. I think he plays this one. Maybe doesn't play in 38. Maybe not, because I don't have the graphic to hand, but the Europa League final is just a few days after Gameweek 38. So obviously Man United probably don't want to play the full strength 11 just days before the Europa League final. I think I do have it here. Here it is. So this is the fixture ticker and the rest periods for the final couple of game weeks. So yeah, you can see the teams that are in red here get the least amount of rest heading into Game Week 37. Game Week 38, all teams get 3 or 4 days off. But you can see here, Man United, before they play Villarreal in the Europa League final, they get just 2 days of rest. So I'd be very surprised if Solskjaer plays a full strength 11 in Game Week 38. We might even see Bruno bench, to be honest. Hope I'm wrong about that, but it could happen. Something to bear in mind. And another thing to bear in mind, guys, if you are about on the last day of the season, is that we could have some leaks heading into the deadline. I will be live heading into the deadline. I'll do the usual deadline stream. The last of the season. And there's a good chance we get a leak heading into that game. Or several leaks, you know. For example, last game we had a leak that Torres was going to start, Foden benched, and we had the leak that Scott Carson started in goal. JD says, I'm going to free hit in 38. Interesting. Who to take a punt on? I wasted a -4 on Bruno Tamares last week, so I could just revert it. Yeah, like I said, I would keep an eye out for leaks heading into the last game. I think we're going to get quite a few leaks. And if there's a leak that, for example, Ferran Torres starts, then I think that would be the sort of players you'd want to take a punt on. Are you on the Discord, JD? I was going to say, if possible, post it in the Rate My Team channel. If not, I will get the team up here. I think I'll have to start doing it that way soon because it's quite fiddly to paste the team IDs into the URL. But it's alright, we'll make it work. 48 points in Gameweek 36, very nice. 4.3 in the bank. So again, I'd be tempted to do Jota to Mane as a major differential move for 37. Mahrez, I mean, he missed the last one. I'd say there's a chance he plays this one against Brighton. Good fixture. I'd probably keep hold. It depends again where your overall rank is and what you're trying to do with the remainder of the season, JD. You know, if you're looking to play it safe, then the safest move here is Jota to Bruno. But if you're looking to take a punt, then Jota to Mane is that punt. So it really depends on what your goals are for the remainder. I probably wouldn't just reverse Mahrez back out, considering how much you've got in the bank. So you've got 4.3. Oh, you can't actually afford to reach Mane, can you? That would come to 11.3, I believe. And have you just got one free transfer? I'd almost be tempted instead to do something more. Well, the thing is, if you're going to free hit in 38, then you may as well take the punt now, right? Because it's your last chance to take a punt. 38, you can do whatever you want to do. But right now it's the last chance to use a free transfer on a punt. So, yeah, I think Jota to Mane, if you've got 2 free transfers, I would just downgrade one of your other players. Failing that, I would probably do Mahrez to Mane instead. Something like that. So Matty says, who to bench? Captain and Salah. So you've got Iheanacho, Smith Rowe, Watkins. I think the team looks okay as it is. I think I'd probably also bench Iheanacho. Difficult to predict the defence there. Everton playing Wolves. Everton have done fairly well defensively, but obviously they'd let in that goal against Sheffield. Yeah, it looks okay. It looks okay to me. Have you used any free transfers up or not? Because the other thing you could do is something like Iheanacho to Antonio and then bench Coleman, something like that. I do like Antonio still for the final 2. Unlucky not to get something out of that last game, but I like the Antonio pick for the last couple of games if you've got the funds to go from Iheanacho to him. Iheanacho obviously got 2 tough games. And this was Finn's team. Lingard captain for Finn. Are you sticking with that, Finn? What do you guys think about Captain Lingard? I was surprised to see him so high on the Goalscorer odds. This is one of the most differential teams I've seen. You've got Zaha in there, you've got Willock in there, you've got Greenwood in there, you've got Lingard captain, Patricio in goal. Very differential team, this one. I think I'd be tempted to start Azpilicueta over Zaha, to be honest. I'm assuming you've made your move already, Finn. Looks good though. Looks good as it is. I think your bench is fine, but as I said, probably just start in Azpilicueta. If there's any final Rate My Team questions, I will answer them, and then we will wrap this stream up. Jota to Mane and then Kane to Bamford. Bamford, I'm not convinced by. He could do well, obviously, still over the final 2, but he did come off early last game week. Before the 60th minute even, so it's just a 1-pointer for him. Rodrigo's doing well, so Rodrigo could come on for Bamford again. Could even start in place of Bamford. Probably won't happen, but that's a possibility as well. I think Antonio's the better of the two, in my opinion. Antonio's got West Brom as well, and then he plays Southampton at home with fans in 38. Mum chose Lingard captain, got to stick with it. Thanks, Mum, if that comes in. Don't know if I trust my mum with my captaincy decisions, but who knows. Reminds me of a couple of seasons ago, that guy on Reddit was letting his dog pick his captains, which is why I mentioned it earlier. And the dog got it right for something crazy like 8 game weeks in a row. So maybe that's over, and maybe it's time for the mum picks. Anyway, I think it's a good time to wrap the stream up. Thank you everyone that has tuned in for this one. It's been another good stream. As always, I'll add the timestamps, so if anyone wants to go back and watch anything you've missed, that'll be there. Afan, EJT, Finn, JD, Jonathan, Matt, anyone else I've missed, appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like the video before you go. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Good luck this game week. As I say, I'm on the road tomorrow, so annoyingly there won't be a deadline stream. But I will be back for a Game Week 38 deadline stream, definitely. Maybe even one before that. But of course, I will be on the Discord all this week, so I'll see you guys there too. So yeah, thanks again, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.